And well, not today's edition of Trade Captain, because Trade Captain, of course, is the website. I'm talking about today's daily market update, which we call 600 seconds of trading. I'm gonna provide you guys with a quick update on Bitcoin, Eurodollar, gold, crude oil, and the DAX 30. Also, want to bring everybody's attention that we are hosting special webinars this week. On Friday, we're hosting a live webinar where we cover short-term trading and short-term scalping. I'm going to show you how that works a bit. That takes place at 3 p.m. London time. And then in May 10th, so in 20 days from now, we're going to provide you guys with the top trade ideas for May 2018. So make sure you sign up. And as well, if you're new to this presentation, again, 600 seconds of trading is something we host here at the live trading room Monday to Friday at 10 p.m. London time, more or less. Start 9:05, 9:07 sometimes. Okay, before we start, I need to stress that trading financial markets unfortunately is risky. It's a genuine risk that will lose all of our invested money. Okay, so this is the euro, and as you know, the dollar is doing very well against many different currencies, and it took out the lows in the New Zealand dollar, it took out the lows in the Australian dollar, and we've seen a move even in the pound, so strengthening of the dollar in general. And the euro though is holding up relatively well. The market is still trading above 121.55, which is the trend defining level. But if we take out this level, which obviously has increased because all the other markets took out their levels, then I would assume that over a period of a few days, the market goes down to 120 and maybe down to the low here at 119.20. On the other hand, if we manage to take out this high, which is 122.50, then at least in the short term, on the 4-hour, we would have stopped creating these lower and lower highs, and that could potentially mark the end of the downside pressure for the euro. And at that point, the market would probably try to bounce back up to the middle. Now, as I said in an article published yesterday, so publish content here in the technical analysis section, and we have a new guy coming in the next few days, so you see more content here. Right now it's me publishing and also Yuri, but you'll see more content. And as I said yesterday, I said it is possible to buy, and I said if you buy pretty much at 122.15, you can go long and you risk a few pip, and if we go back up to the middle of the range, you're gonna make a nice return. The actual levels is risk 40 pip to potentially make 142 pip return. So 142 divided by 40, that is, let me show you, 142 divided by 40, that's 3.5 times the risk. So that's obviously a very good risk reward ratio. But with this very good risk reward ratio also comes the increased likelihood of getting stopped out, and particularly when the market is trading sideways the way it is doing right now. So with this in mind, and particularly because all the other markets turned bearish, I'm personally not buying here. I would wait at least for 122.50 to be taken out, and then potentially we could have that little bounce. Now here's Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is down with 2.18% today. A few days ago we said that if we take out 92.09, which is this high, then this market should be able to trade higher. And I want to maintain that bullish bias, and I'm going to maintain it as long as we're above 85.96. This is something as well, if I remember correctly, something highlighted to you guys yesterday. And the idea here is that I think eventually, the market had a long-term low here and potentially could hit up to maybe 10,500, 11,000, and then at these levels, most likely traders going to book profits. If I'm wrong, then obviously we can peak here, and what I'm going to be doing is that I'm just going to be keeping an eye on these lows. So as long as we create these higher and higher lows, the trend is bullish, so there's no real reason to worry. But if we start to see sign like this, we go down and sort of end the amount of racing, or the series of higher lows. If they end, then that's the sign of that we probably peaked. And just in general, to give you an idea, this is Ethereum, Litecoin, Ripple, they all sort of had some quite significant sell-offs, so not significant but strong pullbacks overnight. I didn't actually see any articles about why that was. It seems that somebody decided to sell, and in some markets, especially these smaller ones like IOTA, you had significant pullbacks. The market here pulled back with 25%, and that's it. So a little bit of a shakedown, and obviously negative day for cryptos, and that could be the beginning of a high being created, but for now it's better just to stick to the actual trend. Here's crude oil, and crude oil is moving to the upside. A few days ago we looked to buy here, and then we said if it goes back down here one could buy again, and I'm gonna maintain a bullish bias as long as it's above 66.77. If we take this out, what's gonna happen is that we're gonna stop creating these lower and lower highs, lower and lower lows, and this is starting to remind me a bit of this situation here. You see market move down, up, down, and then up again, and obviously if we stop creating these levels, then we could have a bit of a steeper pullback. The long-term trend is bullish above 61, and if we take out 66.77, I think the market can go down, up, and maybe down to 64, and then probably between 64 and 66.79, traders are gonna start to look at the market and try to build a new position, because the volatility in this market is really clustered. It's a funny sort of market where it could get stuck in a short-term uptrend with very low downside volatility, and then it goes up and up and up and up and up, and then you have a regime shift in the volatility. Suddenly you have a big decline, and then it's volatile for a while, and then it has these sort of moves again. So it's very typical. It reminds me a lot about the pound dollar, which again has sort of similar sort of characteristics. Here is the price of gold, and we might as well just look at the daily chart, because there's really no point focusing too much on the short-term levels. Looks like the euro, we can be bullish about 1,302. Down here, I think traders would rather buy than sell. As long as you're above this level, we could potentially head to the upside. And here's the German DAX. So the German DAX traded lower. The reason for that is because you had quite steep declines in the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq. I personally don't think that those markets have necessarily bottomed out. So I have a feeling that we could potentially have more weakness in the stock markets, and that could potentially translate into the German DAX as well being slightly soft. But in general, I'd rather buy the S&P and the Nasdaq at today's levels rather than just a few days ago, because we had at least a large part of the correction I was anticipating. And it's the same thing here. Now both, not necessarily here, but both US markets and the German DAX are at interesting levels to work with bullish views. So I think traders are going to start to accumulate, and while I don't think we're necessarily going to bounce today, I do think we're going to bounce most likely in this section, and as long as you're above this low here, which is 12,255, I think it makes sense to be bullish. If we take out the low, obviously the market could revisit the lows here from April. Okay guys, we're going to wrap things up. I want to thank you so much for joining. Do follow me on Twitter if you would like to, at AlexFX00. Publish a lot of content there as well. We have the Trade Captain handle, and down here it's called Trade CPT, so Trade CPT, and here we publish all the content. It's a good way to keep abreast with what's going on in the markets. You can also, of course, just download the mobile app if you're using that, and follow us on YouTube as well. And don't forget to check out the actual webinars coming up. Finally, obviously, I would really appreciate your help. So if you like it, hit the like button. If you don't like it, just hit the dislike button. Very straightforward. Have a good day, guys, and I'll see you guys tomorrow at the same time here at tradecaptain.com. Thank you.